On the coldest night of December, a starving 85-year-old grandpa did something almost no one would do anymore. He gave away the only meal he had, not to family, not to a friend, but to a young woman shivering alone at a bus stop, with tears frozen on her cheeks. He didn't know her name. He didn't know where she came from. All he saw was someone hurting. But what Harold Bennett didn't know, what he couldn't know, was that this freezing young woman was the daughter of one of the richest men in the entire state. And the moment she took that sandwich, everything she thought she knew about kindness, privilege, and family began to unravel, because less than 24 hours later, she would return to Harold's door and change his entire life in a way he never believed could happen to him. Before we begin, I want to invite you to subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us share more true, inspired stories of kindness, hope, and the everyday moments that change lives in ways we never expect. Thank you for being here. Now, let's start today's story. Harold walked slowly down Maple Street, his old boots crunching on fresh snow. His hands trembled a little, but not just from the cold, from the weight of a life that had become smaller, quieter, lonelier. Still, he carried a warm turkey sandwich in a paper bag, his dinner, his only dinner. Across the street, at a lonely bus stop, sat a young woman hugging her arms tight around herself. Her coat was thin, her eyes red, like she'd been crying for hours, and her breath shook in the air. Harold paused. Something about her looked out of place, like she came from a warmer world but had been dropped into this cold by mistake. He could have kept walking. Anyone else would have, but Harold never had the kind of heart that let him ignore someone hurting. He crossed the street. "Miss," he said gently, "you look like the cold is winning tonight. Can I give you this sandwich?" She looked up fast, startled, almost offended, as if she wasn't used to anyone offering her anything, much less a stranger offering kindness. "No, no, sir. I can't take your food," she whispered, wiping tears with shivering fingers. Harold chuckled softly. "That sandwich isn't worth much unless someone eats it, and right now, you need it more than I do." Her chin trembled. She hesitated. Then hunger and heartbreak took over, and she finally accepted the paper bag. "I haven't eaten since morning," she murmured. "Well, that's about 11 hours longer than anybody should go." Harold smiled. She ate slowly at first, like she was embarrassed, then faster as warmth returned to her face. They sat quietly, no small talk. Just two strangers sharing a moment that felt unexpectedly human. When her bus came, she stood and said, "I'm sorry. I didn't even tell you my name." "You don't owe me that, sweetheart," Harold answered kindly. But something flickered in her expression, like she suddenly wanted to be known. "My name is Emily," she whispered. "Thank you for seeing me tonight." And she left. Harold walked home hungry but weirdly grateful. Sometimes giving is its own kind of full. He had no idea that Emily wasn't just any young woman. She was Emily Carrington, daughter of real estate tycoon Daniel Carrington, a man worth hundreds of millions. And last night, she ran out of her mansion after a brutal argument with him about responsibility, money, and her future. She left in a rage. She stayed out in the snow because she was too proud to go back. And by the time she realized she wasn't dressed for the temperature, she was shaking uncontrollably. No one stopped, no one asked, no one cared, no one except one poor old man carrying the only food he could afford. It shook her to her core. The next morning, Harold heard knocking. He assumed it was his landlord coming to remind him again about the overdue rent. But when he opened the door, sunlight streamed across a figure he didn't expect. Emily, beautifully dressed, warm coat, boots made for snow, looking like a completely different person than the broken girl he'd seen at the bus stop. "Good morning, Mr. Harold," she said softly. He blinked. "You remembered my name?" "I remembered everything," she said, stepping inside. "Last night, you gave me something no one has given me in a long time. Kindness without expecting anything back." She handed him a small box. Inside was a brand new coat. Thick, warm, waterproof, better than anything he'd ever owned. "But sweetheart, I can't accept—" "Yes, you can," she said firmly, "because last night I realized how selfish I've been. I ran away from a house full of warmth, food, safety, and yet it was you, with so little, who showed me what generosity looks like." Harold swallowed hard. She continued, "I told my father what happened. At first, he didn't understand. Then I showed him the security footage from the bus stop, the way you approached me, the way you spoke to me. It broke him. He realized he'd forgotten how to be humble and how to listen." She smiled, tears in her eyes. "My father wants to thank you himself." Before Harold could respond, a tall man stepped into view behind her, Daniel Carrington. A face Harold had seen on billboards and news interviews. "Mr. Bennett," Daniel said, extending a hand, "my daughter told me everything. You saved her last night, and not just from the cold, but from herself, and I'd like to return the favor." Harold shook his head. "I didn't save anyone. I just shared my dinner." Daniel's voice broke. "That's the point. You gave what you needed, because you saw someone hurting." Emily stepped forward, placing a trembling hand on Harold's arm. "I'm changing my life, Mr. Harold. I'm rebuilding my relationship with my dad, and it started because a stranger believed I was worth helping." Daniel nodded, eyes glassy. "And as for you, sir, your days of struggling alone end today. We'll cover your rent, your meals, your medical needs, everything. Not charity, gratitude." Harold's hands shook. "No one's ever done anything like this for me." Emily squeezed his arm. "You did it first." Harold sat heavily on the chair by his window, overwhelmed. Yesterday, he gave away a sandwich. Today, he was surrounded by warmth, family, gratitude, and something he thought he'd lost long ago. Hope, all because kindness works in circles, and sometimes the smallest gift, offered on the coldest night, is the one that changes everything. If this story touched your heart, please hit the like button and subscribe. It helps us reach more people who still believe in kindness. And tell us in the comments, have you ever helped a stranger and later realized that moment changed you too? We'd love to hear your experience.